Now at 4:30 on WKYT, fire officials in Scott County are trying to determine what has caused a barn to catch fire overnight. We'll have the details straight ahead. The funeral for a Powell County dispatcher will be held today. Coming up, we'll tell you how his fellow employees are honoring him. And a woman was found inside her burning home last night. Hear what Lexington fire officials are saying about that just ahead this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning to you and welcome in. We certainly hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday break and you're ready to go here on this Monday morning. I'm Bill Bryant. Rebecca's off today. We're going to be checking in with meteorologist Micah Harris now. The rain or the drizzle or whatever you want to call that just keeps coming.
You know, I was going to say the exact same thing. You have drizzle outside, you have a little mist, you have some sprinkles. I mean, this is very light activity. You do have some heavier bands and still light rain back toward the far east and southeastern zones. But other than that, when you walk outside this morning, you're going to feel that mist, that drizzle flying around you. Temperatures are there in the 40s. It's not a great feel. It's some pretty chilly mist, too. And we'll see those showers pick up as we slide into your second half of the day, much more prominent than what you're seeing this morning. I'll get into that forecast. I'll show you what's going to be happening in the next couple of days, if we still have rain or if we can move it on out. That's coming up.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit, and we thank you, Mike. And new this morning, fire officials are investigating an overnight fire in Scott County. Fire officials responded to a structure fire on Muddy Fork Road a little after 1 o'clock this morning. And when they got there, firefighters say they discovered a barn completely engulfed in flames. They say nobody was injured in the barn, but owners say that it appears that various farm equipment has been lost. They also say their dog may have been inside at the time. They cannot confirm that at the moment. Firefighters are now trying to determine a cause of the fire. This morning, fire officials are trying to determine the cause of a deadly late-night fire here in Lexington. That fire started around 8 o'clock last night at a duplex on Clays Mill Road. Firefighters say they were able to knock the flames down quickly, but when they got inside, they found the body of a woman. Firefighters still are not sure what caused the fire. They say it appeared that the duplex did not have any working smoke detectors.
I'm under the impression that there weren't any working smoke detectors, and I've talked to the gentleman that lived here and the fire investigator and then the first arriving crews, and nobody said that they had heard smoke detectors on the inside. So we can't stress enough the importance of having working smoke detectors at all times. You know, changing your batteries when we move the clocks forward and backward, and you know, those smoke detectors really do make a difference in situations like this.
They say another man who stays at the home was treated for smoke inhalation but is expected to be okay. Around the same time as the duplex fire, Lexington crews dealt with another fire that went on Castle Rock Way last night. They say nobody was injured in that one. In western Kentucky, firefighters are trying to figure out what caused a deadly fire there. The fire started around 8:30 yesterday morning at an apartment complex in Glasgow. When firefighters arrived, they found smoke coming from an apartment, and inside the apartment they say they found a body in the living room.
We had about a 3-minute response time. We get on the scene, heavy smoke coming from the front of the building, apartment. It's still shut up. It's not locked, but the building's shut up. Guys make a quick entry knowing that we've probably got somebody inside. Within about a minute and a half, we actually located someone, but it was pretty obvious they was deceased at that time.
The name of the victim has not been released this morning. Firefighters say the fire damaged 3 other apartments. They say the cause of the fire is still under investigation this morning. Friends and family of a murdered Lexington teenager will say their final goodbyes as he is laid to rest today. The visitation and funeral for 18-year-old Jamaal Gossett will be held today at the Main Street Baptist Church. Gossett became Lexington's 16th murder victim of 2015 after he died on Kent Drive last Sunday. Police say neighbors found him in the driver's seat of his SUV after hearing some gunshots. So far, police have yet to make an arrest for Gossett's murder. His funeral will be at 1 this afternoon. The Powell County Courthouse is going to be closed today so that those who are close to a county employee who was killed in a crash can attend his funeral. The funeral for 24-year-old Tim Addison will begin at noon at the Hearn Funeral Home in Stanton. He died Friday after police say he crashed into a tractor trailer on Campton Road. Addison was a 911 dispatcher, a volunteer firefighter, and most recently had been Assistant Director of Emergency Management. In 2014, he was named Dispatcher of the Year. The Powell County Judge Executive says the decision to close court today is also a way of honoring a fallen employee. Well, several crashes and lots of rain caused plenty of problems for drivers as the holiday weekend came to a close. Yesterday, first responders were called to numerous crashes on Interstate 75, which led to miles and miles of traffic delays. Crews say an early morning crash near mile marker 21 north of Williamsburg in Whitley County killed a man and injured several others. In Rockcastle County, crews responded to several crashes. Thankfully, none of those serious. Many drivers anticipated potential backups given that it was a busy travel day, but those we spoke with said it was even worse than they expected.
Well, this is the worst it's been, and we've been going for several years, so this is the worst we've had.
The Whitley County Sheriff's Office says the man killed in yesterday's crash was 30-year-old Vantorium Favors from Georgia. State police are investigating a crash that injured several people in Powell County. Troopers say that incident happened around 3:45 yesterday afternoon on the Mountain Parkway near mile marker 36. They say 52-year-old Ernest Robinson lost control of his car, crossed the median, and rolled over several times. Troopers say 4 people were in the vehicle at the time, and all were taken to Clark Regional Medical Center in Winchester. They say one of the passengers, a 13-year-old girl, was later taken on to UK Hospital for further treatment. We're tracking the investigation this morning into a bizarre crime spree in Louisville. Police say 46-year-old John McClaney impersonated an officer, pulled a woman over, and sexually abused her. Officers say he then used the woman's key to get into a cell phone store and stole the safe inside. Police tracked McClaney to a home where he barricaded himself in a garage and threatened to kill officers.
They were able to administer gas into the garage and fire a couple less lethal weapons, striking him. Then they were able to take him into custody. There's no doubt in my mind that Mr. McClaney is a violent person. I'm just glad that we were able to do some good police work and get to that house before he had a chance to kill her.
The police chief says McClaney has been targeting Cricket mobile phone stores in the area lately. He pled guilty in another burglary case last year. Deputies in Clark County are warning joggers to be very careful right now. The warnings come after what they're calling a sexual attack on a runner. The sheriff's office says a man attacked a woman who was jogging on the Veterans Memorial bypass Saturday morning. She describes him as a man with short dreadlocks. Deputies are currently investigating the attack, but they say no arrests have been made. Authorities in eastern Kentucky say an escaped Pike County inmate is now back behind bars this morning. Police say Arius Silcox escaped custody early yesterday morning. The Pike County jailer says Silcox was taken to the Pikeville Medical Center Saturday night because of a self-inflicted head injury. And after being treated, the jailer says an officer was walking Silcox out of the medical center toward a van to take him back to the jail when a car pulled up and Silcox jumped in.
I reached into the vehicle, grabbed his shirt, and tried to pull him out, and he yelled the words, "Go, go, go," and then she, of course, hit the gas, accelerated out. They drugged me about 7 to 15 feet.
Police say Silcox was found at his sister's home in the Marrowbone community about 5 o'clock yesterday. He is now charged with escape and assault of an officer. A Lexington restaurant spent the day raising money in honor of 2 Central Kentucky fallen first responders. The Horseshoes Kentucky Grill held a fundraiser. It was yesterday in honor of Richmond police officer Daniel Ellis and Jessamine County paramedic John Mackey. The fundraiser started around noon and it lasted until midnight last night. It featured several musical acts and a silent auction. Organizers said they wanted to raise money to help out the victims' families.
Well, I got a phone call from a police officer right after the tragedy in Richmond with Officer Ellis, and they asked me if we would put something together for the families to help raise money, and I said absolutely. So we decided to go with both families, especially the Mackey family, because we've heard that they're not getting any benefits.
Organizers say some of the proceeds will also be given to the Kentucky Law Enforcement Memorial Foundation. The University of Kentucky is losing one of its quarterbacks. The team, their junior quarterback Patrick Towles, announcing yesterday on Instagram he will be transferring from the program. He has 1 year of playing eligibility left. The Kentucky native was the Wildcats' starting quarterback for the first 10 games this season before being replaced by freshman Drew Barker. Stay with us here on WKYT This Morning. Sports will have much more on what Towles' departure means for the Wildcats. That's coming up beginning at 5 this morning. And it's good to have you along. Our time is about to hit 4:40, 20 before 5, and WKYT This Morning is just getting started. Changing a child's behavior can be as simple as giving more praise for their good behavior. Moms Every Day has a story on that coming up.
Yeah, we have more rain heading our way. It just doesn't stop anytime soon. I'll show you when it moves on out and how much we're going to have before that happens. Coming up next.